The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to another edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your lovable and exquisitely soft host, David White, every Monday through Friday at the headquarters of Technical Trading and Investing, TFNN.com. And we've got a market ripping up higher on very light volume, 2.3 billion shares as we start the show at 1588, which is up almost 20 points on the S&P cash. We've got gold also off very strongly today. We see what is that? Platinum. Where's gold up here? 26, off 26 bucks at 1560. And that's on the back of, I think, a little bit of economic news, but also news that Goldman Sachs is very much pushing the idea that it is a time to short gold. I think they probably should have come in probably $100 higher out here, but are coming out here. Normally I do the opposite of whatever Goldman Sachs tells the masses. And I'm wondering if this isn't a opportunity to get very close and wash out people at the bottom in gold. I've been rather bearish on gold. When I hear somebody like Goldman Sachs get bearish, I have to reevaluate my position. Very rarely do they do anything that will actually help you when they speak. So we've got this market. It's ripped up higher. We've seen probably 7 points on 700 million shares. It is creeped higher very slowly. This is a good indication of a market that is slowly wiping out and taking out shorts as they cover, but not a huge move in volume. I saw something, I think it was from Bloomberg midday, just before I left out here, a pretty good survey of what is moving and what is not moving in the marketplace, or what is significantly moving. And pretty much anything that was extremely short is popped up, and the other 90, or that's about 10% of the other 90% were stocks that yielded a high percentages. The thought is that the money is running out of Japan and into the United States on anything with a yield. And maybe we started to see some of that yesterday with Intel, Microsoft, some of these stocks that have not moved considerably. We're seeing a little bit of movement out there today. So as we start today, in 1866, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals was started in New York City by a gentleman named Henry Bergh. That's a long time ago. I'm active in finding dogs new homes, and I've got a little guy, guy about 10 pounds. His name is Diablo, El Diablo. And I'm trying to get him up so he can get into a nice home. But anything you can do to make sure that you take more dogs off the street, and kitties too, and make sure that you have your dog spayed and neutered if you aren't planning on something. Especially ones out there in, it's kind of seen a real difference here over the last 5 years. I used to just pick up dogs left and right. Now you have to pay an adoption fee, and they check you out and everything else. Probably not a bad deal, but too bad they don't do that for kids. Anybody that can reproduce gets it, but it's tougher to get a dog than probably get pregnant and keep a kid. I don't know what the story is on that. Anyway, a nice day for the ASPCA this day in 1866, which would have been pretty much at the end of the Civil War. You kind of think about that. Anyway, not a lot of other news articles going on, so we're going to get to a lot of the stocks that have moved in this marketplace. We'll be back in just a second here. Let me pull my charts up. And where are they at? Oh, there they are. Wanted to look at some of these. IBM came out with a nice bit of news today. We've seen the movement up to a high, but it's pulled back below that pretty much resistance level at, we're going to call it 210, 212 bucks. We are right in that today. Let me get a current quote on IBM. Boy, I can hear everything today. I heard that mouse. Can you hear that? Mr. Mouse in the thing. I hear everything today. Normally, I don't hear a lot of that background noise. IBM 212.41 up on 2.4 million shares right now. A nice little gap back up, but right up to resistance. Kind of seeing that in a lot of stocks out here. Another one that is popping right back up to resistance today is Apple. 435 has pretty much been that resistance level. 436.24 for our last tick. So we're watching that. The problem continues to be extremely light volume on many of these stocks. Nothing out here really acting like it's breaking out with volume as it should at these highs. Another one is Google. Google so far with this 1.5 million shares. Nice little bounce up here, but continues to look like a bounce in a downtrend with a very light volume. It's filling a gap from a few days ago. That gap came on 3.4 million shares as we push it back up through that level. Very, very light volume, so we continue to see some of those stocks moving. A lot of stocks that were super short are popping today, and we'll take a look at those. Some of the stocks not doing so well is Barrick Gold. ABX had some bad news about one of its mines in South America, and of course not a good day to have that and gold going down at the same time. When we look at this 3, 4, 5 years or whatever, can we even find anything that looks like it goes back in that, boy. Okay, we went and jumped over the gap in Barrick Gold. That gap happened back in 2008, actually December 8th, 2008. That came up with 11 million, almost 12 million shares. So when we look what we have today with 24 million shares, certainly looks like we have the opportunity out here. Is that right? Yeah, 24 million shares. The opportunity to blow through that gap, which opens up the next gap in Barrick Gold, which is that last gap up was on 11/21/2008. That was on 34.5 million shares on 11/21/2008. So November 21st. That volume was 34 million shares. So you're getting to the point where there's just not that much more supporting some of these gold stocks out here. Other ones in the move, Baidu. Do I have that? BIDU. $91.06 up, $6.19 as we speak. Nice little bounce out here, but again, not a lot making you think this is other than a bounce up in a downtrend. It's back up to 90 bucks. You've got the risk that this thing comes back, tries to refill its gap up at around 100 bucks. More likely, I would suspect that this continues to be in a downtrend. But one day a trend does not make. But it's got the first little bit of good action out here, and at least a bounce off of a bottom. Would want to see this April 5th low at 82.98 retested before we think that there's more than a day trade out of this. Fastenal came out with earnings this morning, just about like the rest of the economy in the United States, looking down. Forecast is a little bit down. They are a company that sells nuts and bolts and other kinds of fasteners to the industrial world of the United States mostly. In fact, one of my favorite stores. They always have exactly what you need. But anyway, down on decent volume today, let me put it that way. We'll have to see how this comes out, but probably not the end of the world for this stock. Probably picked a fairly decent day to come out with bad news. It's down $2.19, which is a little over 4% at 48.69. But it looks like this thing may be putting a top end. I suspect this is probably headed out into the $46 range here over the next few days as we watch a lot of these moving. Facebook has had a kind of a little counter trend bounce out of here. I suspect that it's trying to get up into this 29 gap and do about a 50% retracement on the stock. Yeah, that would take it up to 29.62. So we're kind of looking for a 50% retracement, I suspect, on this, which would not be, not much higher. But is that right? Yeah. No, that'd be 28. I can't even read anymore. 28.62 would be the 50% retracement on Facebook. That may be setting up the next leg down out there if they can't come up with anything more than they have so far for turning mobile into dollars. First Solar, of course, came out, had a huge short interest. Actually, in First Solar, I think it was the second most shorted stock by percentage in the entire marketplace, maybe second or third. Anyway, huge move on the news yesterday, which was kind of lukewarm financial results. But more important than that wasn't a death sentence. And when you have a 45% short interest, this is what happens in a company like that, especially when you've got a market that's trying to push. It is pulled back a little bit. A lot of this is short covering. I would imagine if you could see this thing move back down into the 15% range instead of the 40% range on short interest, that's probably where the next move down is in this company. I know a lot of people like solar companies. Unfortunately, it is still somewhere around 4 times as expensive as hooking up to electric from the city. And until it gets down to that price range, I suspect that it, without any of the enhancements that the government's giving them here in the United States, as those drop away again this year, it's going to be incredibly tough for them to make any money. IBM, we talked about that. PC, Panasonic Corporation. When we look at this one, and a little bounce up there, of course, pretty much the same thing that we are getting from just Japan being up and the rest of the world out here. Not a lot happening. Very light volume so far today, but not much to make out of that one. Semigroup Corporation, another one breaking out to a new high. Again, you want to be looking for lots of volume. And we're starting to get it. This is at least one that's breaking out above the previous high. Last high was on almost 300,000 shares on March 28th. It is breaking above it today with 450,000 shares. So we're going to try to be going through as many stocks as we can today. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Baby, let me be your love teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere.
Oh, my theme song out there. Yes, I am. I'm just one big teddy bear out here. We're going to go right to Patrick in Denver. How you doing today, Patrick?
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
Pretty good.
Good. Hey, appreciate the work you're doing with animals there.
Okay. Well, I'm doing my one little part with El Diablo, the 8.5-pound Sir Humps-a-Lot, trying to get him ready to get out into the world, but we'll see how he does.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you want to talk about today?
You know, I heard you talking about gold and Barrick Gold and that. So I was curious about the XME.
You know, I'm looking at a lot of these, and I was actually just doing it before I saw your call come up. But a lot of these things are trading like they're going out of business, and the volume is not all that bad so far. You know, we're looking for probably a retest of this low at 37.02 on XME. But other than that, it doesn't look like the end of the world. I was looking at a couple of them here, like Silver Wheaton, SLW. Excuse me if I can actually get it correct. SLW. There we go. This thing's looking, you know, on a testing the 27.76 low that had 8.1 million shares, and what do we got today? About 5. You know, I'll have to see how this volume comes in at the end. But I'm looking at a lot of these gold stocks, AUY, and I'm always suspicious when I hear Goldman Sachs trying to give us free advice out there.
Right.
And so that, I've been seeing these stocks bounce along like Yamana Gold, AUY. This thing's bouncing around the lows at about 10 million shares. Do we still need a retest of these lows? The answer is yes. But, when we see a pullback today on 5 million shares and we're looking at testing these lows around 1350 on that, I'm going to be watching this stuff. It may take a couple more days, but I think them hopping on board and pushing gold down a little bit is not too bad. Other ones I wanted to look at. We were talking about ABX already. Hekla, HL. When we look at that, this one's got what I think is maybe even a false break to the bottom out here. On March 5th, it had 11 million shares at $3.99. It has not gotten any kind of that volume yet so far. This thing closed back above $3.99 over a couple of days, and this thing may actually find, some kind of bottom. What else do I want to look at there? We looked at ABX, SLV. I already looked at that. iShares, Silver Trust, same thing. This thing looks like it's ready to set up to go back and test its next low, but for all the negative news out here, silver looks like it may bottom a little bit before gold out here. SLV looks like it wants to test that 25.74 from April 4th out here. So we may be a week away from these things testing these on lighter volume. I just don't see, especially with as much destruction as we had in gold today, that maybe this is the washout, and maybe Goldman Sachs' call for gold to go to 1450 may be the key that we're putting in some kind of floor in here.
Okay, I appreciate that. How about if you got another couple minutes?
Yeah.
You're pretty familiar with electronics, and that's Sony, SNE.
Yep.
Something you're watching?
Now, I mean, the problem with all these companies is that, what do they have that's really going to sell? Even in my early days, I worked at kind of the equivalent when I was 20, about like a Best Buy.
Right.
And it was high-end audio, video, and computers. And I was in the computer department of the store. But whenever they did, had something new, like a new CD player, or a DVD player, or any kind of thing, there was always a year or two where they made a lot of money. There just wasn't that kind of business. There was a cassette, but it always took some kind of new product to really move them out, and there just isn't that product for Sony. What is, other than being a big conglomerate, what really interests you in Sony other than the dollar exchange rate with Japan? And that's about it, right?
I haven't even, I haven't heard anything about Sony for years, really.
Yeah, they make a lot of stuff. They make it at low margins. If I'm going to put some money into a company, I'm going to look at something that's making higher margins. What's Best Buy? BBY?
Right.
This thing probably, I think, is set up, at least in consumer electronics. You want to hang on through the break?
Sure.
Okay. We'll come back in a second. But Best Buy, to me, looks like it's probably getting close to topping out here. And we'll talk about consumer electronics in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know that you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right of the TFNN homepage. But if you don't have a mobile connection that keeps up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in radio talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed for trading in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information available, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We were talking with Patrick from Denver out here, and I wanted to talk about Best Buy because basically it's now the only barometer we have for consumer electronic retail in the United States. But, you know, this thing has been down to $11.41. There was a huge program by the original founder of it to get back into the driver's seat on this and basically roll out a lot of shorts, which pretty much everybody's short this stock, assuming it was going bankrupt. And they had enough money, I think, that it would probably have been pretty wise if you would have done it lower. But a lot of these stocks like this are just zombie stocks. This pretty much run all the way back up on short covering. We've had these huge one-day moves like we just had a few days ago on Samsung coming in and opening a kiosk in the store. There's just not that much money in selling Samsung phones. They made a decent living selling the iPhones out there and getting their cut of the AT&T pie. But most of that is going away. I'm just wondering what new product out here at Best Buy, which is a good indication of, what's going to happen in consumer electronics. What is someone going to run out and buy? And, you can buy 4,000 different LCD televisions right now, which is the biggest purchase out there, but they're all 5-10% margin products. No one's making any, no one's No one's going to write home and saying, the easy street is here by selling Sony TVs out there. So to me, the question would be, what new product out here is going to make them like the CD player or a DVD player or LCD? What is that's going to save them and or save Sony at the same time, and Panasonic? Because both of those companies are kind of in that back side. But I don't know. Have you seen anything that makes you think that consumer electronics is really rolling?
I pretty much shun technology. My TV is a 1993 Mitsubishi.
Yeah, but even then, if you wanted to go buy one, if I wanted to go buy one, I'd probably roll up to Walmart, throw out $500 or $600 and get a TV that's better than anything I could have bought in the last 5 years, right? I don't
Probably.
think. I think you could have gotten a 50, 60-inch television or something for probably a fourth of what it has been before. So
Sure.
I'm just looking at stocks like Best Buy right now, maybe as peaking, and maybe this is it. Normally, they've got a pretty good history of selling off all the way into September, and that's kind of what I'd be looking at in this. So, the only other product that really looks like in consumer that is coming out next fall is Xbox, the new version of Xbox from Microsoft.
Okay.
And other than that, I just don't see anything that's really going to drive it. Of course, that's not going to make any money for Panasonic or Sony or any of the other conglomerate Japanese companies. So I just don't know, and it's probably not even going to be enough for Best Buy. But they need to get into something. Best Buy also was making some money off of white goods, washers and dryers and refrigerators. But Home Depot and Lowe's has pretty much killed them off on that too.
Right.
So, the biggest thing I'd worry about in that whole sector is what would happen if Best Buy went away.
Well, I think Best Buy and Penny's are going to be going away. And
you got to figure Penny's is running out of money. They'll be out of money, 6 months, 9 months?
Yeah,
so you really have to, they've got to raise some funds quickly. Best Buy, I think, is nothing more than a big operation by a big player that's pushed this thing back up. And I think we're probably looking at, this is one of these stocks that's down today. And this is a great day to start looking at stocks and seeing which ones are weak and which ones are strong. This one is down on what should be a fairly strong day. So I don't see a lot in consumer electronics really pushing the market until we see Xbox come out in the fall.
Right, and that's one product.
Yeah, you really need something that everybody's after, like a DVD player or a new form of 3D television that really catches on. I just don't see anything right now.
I don't think. I think everything's been invented, Dave.
Yeah, well, it hasn't, but for the most part, there's nothing new really coming on the horizon that's at that consumer level for these guys. And Panasonic and Sony only care if they can sell 500,000, 1 million, or 5 million of a AM receiver, AM FM receiver, or stereo speakers, or something. They don't sell really niche things that suddenly become huge things like iPhones.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All those. Thanks for the call, and we're going to go to Max in Houston. How you doing today, Max?
I'm doing just fine, David. Quick question. I was looking, and the home builders are looking kind of weak today.
Yeah.
And it looks like KBH has potentially a double top that we see in the chart.
Well, I think the biggest part of the news that was skipped over was the Fed meeting notes this morning, which basically said we're going to start throttling off the extra money come midsummer.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody knows that means that interest rates are probably not going to get any lower, and most likely going to get slightly higher. So I don't see why, these things kind of bottomed out a couple of times. The juniors have already continued to sell off strongly. You've got a few of these like KBH and some of those others. Hang on just a second. KBH. Let me just...
The ones I trade are KBH and DHI, and DHI is acting weaker than KBH.
Yeah, I was just going to go through them one. PHM, which is Pulte, which is kind of pretty much already made its double top. Lennar, LEN. Yeah, it's already made its top. Toll. What do we have in it? Yeah, I mean, most of these things, I thought, we've been talking about that for, 4 or 6 weeks? Really, maybe even 8 weeks. Looked like they'd really gotten to the point where they'd rolled over, and you probably have the best in KBH, but it's probably going to find the rest of them. And ever since the Fed started talking about throttling their word, how much money's coming into the market, and I think 4 of the 8 or 9 Fed governors agreed that it's time to start throttling it this summer. And they said, well, we'll throttle it up and down as necessary. I think they've already figured out that they've made yet another bubble in the housing market and a bubble in the equities market. So the question is, what's going to happen in there? But I don't see anything in a bottom on this. I'd much rather be in the next couple of days looking for maybe a bottom in gold.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Max.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And we're going to go to some other stocks again back here. Let me go back to my, just see which ones are actually moving in the market and get updated. I could actually hear you cough in there. This mic is really hot today. Is it something I'm doing? Nope. Just really hot today, huh? Okay. And we're trading at 1586, 2.5 billion shares, so not a lot of additional volume since the show started out here. Still 212 on IBM, 434 on Apple. That 435 is certainly the Mason-Dixon line on Apple out here. Google's up 1.5 million shares, though. And Facebook's up on 37 million shares. It's pretty good. Microsoft off its highs of $30.32 at $30.18. But to me, it looks like a lot more of both related to Japanese bonds being basically paying worthless, and maybe them coming at expatriating some money over here. 55 cents higher on Intel today. And 52 million shares. Just looks to me like a lot of very into the market running of shorts, and seeing some others out here that are not doing that well. Let me go back to the NASDAQ stocks just to see how we're doing. Fast gold. We didn't do that one, did we? GOLD. Randgold. See that. Randgold Resources. Looking at that, we're pretty close. The last major low was on May 15th, $72.91. But even today, can't really get a lot of energy on the downside to these gold stocks. I'd still love to see a test back into that low $70 range, and we're probably close enough we're going to get it. But you can get that in 1 or 2 days. It may take longer, but I wouldn't be surprised, especially with the pressure put on gold. We don't see some kind of very quick movement in gold that scares everybody, and might be the time to actually step in to some of these gold stocks. But we'll look at that. Other stocks moving out here today: Stratasys, SSYS. But again, a lot of these look to me like they're getting to the 50% retrace in a lot of what they're doing. Let me see, go back out here. Yeah, 50% retracement of the last major move would take you to we're right about there, 78. We're through that, so you're almost up to the 618 retracement also in Stratasys, and we're right at that. So a lot of these stocks look like they're popping back up to what should be resistance in an ABC down. In fact, let's look and see where this would go. A lot of these stocks sold off in the 3D space with a huge volume. We've had a nice little bounce out here today. The retrace came at 0.584, so you just need a little bit more to the 618. What I dislike is the big candle today without that much volume. Let's look at DDD here also and see what we have in that. Not much of a bounce in that so far. Probably the weaker of the two, at least at the moment. Back up in the $35 range today. Let's see. we get something out here. 37. I have one out there. And see if I can't get this to pop in. There. That would be your ABC down. I don't see much in this yet, setting up a nice low in 3D systems, but you could get back up to the $38, $37 range out here. Although another one, not all that much volume on the way down out here. Well, we got about 3 minutes out here. We talked about Fastenal. Let's look at some other stocks out here that are moving on the plus side. Most of these are highly shorted stocks that have been down. Baidu, Apollo, got a nice bounce out today, which may be setting up a longer-term high in Micron Technology. Let me turn that off here just a second. There we go. This thing's coming into its high and is backed off of the previous high that it had on earnings, March 22nd at $10.27. Basically a million shares, and we're getting into that today with 390,000 so far. About a nickel short of actually testing it, but close enough on very light volume to suggest that this thing's probably made some kind of high. It did do its basic retrace down here, and you had a nice 10% move off the 904 low from April 4th. So it did exactly what it should do. I'm just wondering if this is not as good as it gets in a business that is mostly a commodity. We've talked about it on the show where they actually are buying the remnants of their biggest competitor in Japan. And I really missed this one. This should have been an easy pickup. I just didn't really understand the implications of them buying Elpedia, which is one of the Japanese big manufacturers of it. Once they were gone, the margins have almost doubled and made Micron a huge winner out here. What is it? Vertex Pharmaceuticals, SanDisk, SNDK. A lot of people really pouring into this one, especially kind of light volume again on a huge push. A lot of people doing this on a play of the yen also, and I think a lot of the movement out of here is that today. Not a lot of news in this particular stock that would probably drive it up here to this level today. But let's go back a little farther here and so we have a lot of that. Now this thing has broken out of its base above the $53 level, and the one thing I dislike is kind of like IBM. Above $53, we haven't seen any kind of real sign of strength. We've had, like today, a nice candle, but not the kind of volume that you would like to see as this thing had gone higher. The strongest day has been a 3.1 million share high above that. And when you look at the previous three highs, 12 million, 7.2 million, 8.3 million, a lot of these are just breaking out not on a lot of volume, and why I'm not shorting this. Certainly a lot of reasons to think we're in rarefied air in some of these stocks up here. SanDisk looks like one of them, SNDK. We'll be back to wrap up the show. You can give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of tfnn.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at tfnn.com.
And we're looking at corn today, which is the Tecrum Commodity Trust, and using it as a proxy for actual corn. We don't have to just trade equities. We can trade ETFs that underlie the actual commodity out here. Corn has kind of caught my eye because you finally had the huge down day, and we kind of got into that today, at least in the Tecrum Commodity Trust. It did go up much higher today and kind of blow back off and down. You got a little inverted hammer out here today. I'm going to be watching this for the next one, but you're probably coming back into what should be absolutely massive support, and also into a support level that should be fairly easy for corn to handle, unless I start putting corn in my backyard. But this thing took off back in the, of course, the middle of last summer, and just has done exactly what a huge move is supposed to do, which is take off with a lot of energy, pull back with a lot of light energy, maybe we get a few more snapback downs like this. But we're at 39.08 for the low just a few days ago, and the big low out here is at 35.23. So I'm going to probably say that we're within $3 of probably putting in some kind of low for corn out here. But keep an eye on that, because that may be, we're kind of getting into that time frame now where everybody thinks about agriculture again. And what is it? M-O-O, agricultures is another one. The agribusiness ETF not showing near the weakness that we're seeing in corn out here. M-O-O is the symbol for that. But what can you say? I think we might, I don't see a lot of plays elsewhere, but that corn one really interests me, much like the gold trade out there. Maybe everybody will want to get back into something that has some level of finite resources, like corn or something, starting the next month or two. We should probably get some more interest in that. What else did I want to talk about? HMA. HMA came out with news today. Everybody's been mostly trying to blow these healthcare stocks up to the moon. This one did come out with earnings down fairly strongly today on monstrous volume. There are two very strong days with a volume even less than this, but that takes you back to the 19th of December last year, and probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $9.12. And you can go much lower than that, but I suspect that we're probably moving back into that $9 range fairly quickly in Health Management Associates. HMA is a symbol on that. So you might want to be looking at some of these other healthcare stocks that look like maybe they're up, and maybe just like the mythical character of flying just a little too close to the sun out here at very high levels. I was wanted to check just before we close the day out to see if we had any kind of volume really moving into the markets out here. 2.6 billion shares, which is not a rousing endorsement. We're off about 1 point off the 1.5 points in the S&P off the highs today. We'll really want to watch this close the last 30 minutes to see whether or not people are willing to hang out here. This really looks like a short squeeze over the last couple of days. Not a lot of volume, but just a slow grind up through the rest of the day. This is the day where option market makers go delta neutral. A lot of times it's a high. Let's see what tomorrow brings out here. But we are awful close to probably some level out here that's going to get a retrace in the markets. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.